Hello everyone, my name is Griffin and we are back with another Isaac Butterfield reaction video. We are reacting to a video of his called Being Fat is Not a Choice. Now I know his title is a joke because, yeah, being fat is actually a choice. But let's hear what this video has to say. Whoops.
Is being fat a choice?
Yes, being fat is absolutely a choice. Now, I wouldn't say it's a choice 100% of the time because there are people who medically can't do anything. Like medically can't physically do anything or do anything for themselves, but that's very few and far between. But overall, being fat is the fault of your own choices. Whether what you are putting in your mouth, lack of exercise, whatever else there is, being fat is a choice. Now you staying fat is also a choice, or choosing to lose weight. But overall, you getting fat is a fault through your own choices.
Believe it or not, that's an actual question that is being asked by a wide, strange choice of words, a wide variety of different people.
Like, I don't see how people, I mean, look at this poor lady. I don't see how people can choose to be like that and be happy. I don't understand it. I mean, I'm big myself. I'm trying to lose weight at the moment. But I don't see how people can do that and legitimately be happy with how their body is, because that is just not good in any way, shape, or form, excusing the pun or the irony in it.
And the YouTube channel Jubilee actually sat down a whole group of both skinny and obese people and asked them that very question. Now, I know you may think that this is ridiculous. Why are we even talking about this? Of course it's a choice. Well, if you look at the mainstream media...
The end of just eat less, science doesn't see being fat as a choice. That's bullshit. Many members of the public have come to believe that being fat is a choice, but scientists holds a radically different... That is bullshit. It is absolutely scientifically proven that being fat is a choice. It's like you are easily able to prevent yourself from becoming fat. It's like it's not like no matter what you do, you're going to be fat. No. You have a choice.
They're really pushing the idea that people have
the food and life choices of fat activism. The fat activism thing needs to just die out. It really, really, really needs to just die out, because it is not good for society and it's not good for children to know about it. Readers discuss the freedom to be fat and related health and parenting issues. Look, if you want to be fat, that's fine. That's your choice. Choose to be that. But don't go around pushing your belief saying that being fat is good, being fat is healthy, when obviously, scientifically, it is not. Obesity is the leading cause to a lot of diseases and problems that people run into with their own body. It is one of the major causes.
Have no control of how large they get.
Obesity is not a choice, bullshit, and fat shaming does not help. Actually, it more than likely does, says British Psychological Society. Obesity is not a choice, and making people feel ashamed of their weight only leaves them feeling worse about themselves. According to a new report from the British Psychological Society, the BPS recommends that healthcare professionals should be trained to discuss weight loss in a more supportive way. Or you can just tell them, hey, you're fat, you need to start losing weight, or this shit is going to happen to you. No need to sugarcoat it. Facts don't care about your feelings.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's not muck around. Let's jump straight into the video that I'm recording from some random Airbnb because I'm on the road doing shows. Come and see me live. Let's have a look at question number 1.
Being fat or skinny is a choice.
Yes, it is a choice. I will say this forever and evermore. Being fat or skinny is a choice. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Of course, not every factor is purely choice. I don't think that every factor is, but I do think a majority of it is. And in most cases, for most people, being skinny or being fat is about willpower.
Okay, there you go. You don't need another 30 minutes of this debate. You certainly don't. That is the answer to this question. Plain and simple, right there. This dude knows what he's talking about.
Yes, because when it comes to the population at large, less than 1% of being fat, I would say, is of the people that are fat had no choice of becoming fat. That is less than 1%. I can't say I can probably guarantee on that, but it is more than likely that less than 1% of the population is fat because they have no choice due to some sort of medical reason that prevents them from, becoming healthy. But the vast, vast, vast majority of our population is fat because of the choices they have made throughout their lives. I'm sorry to say, but it's true whether you like it or not.
If you have the power to eat well, to control your portions, and then exercise on top of all of that, you won't be obese. Pretty fucking simple, if you ask me, ladies and gents. And conversely, of course, if you choose to eat whatever you bloody want, you will grow bigger and bigger and bigger. That is the facts of the situation, and I know this personally. If I blow out for a while, I get bigger, and if I eat well, I get smaller. Pretty fucking simple.
For me, it's calories in, calories out. Go to the gym, you'll get buff. Don't go to the gym, you won't get buff. I understand that there's genetics that could cause you to want to eat more, but even with the genetics that cause you to want to eat more, the same solution is calories in, calories out.
It surprises me to no end how many people are oblivious to the idea of the first law of thermodynamics. When you eat it, when you consume that energy, it has to go somewhere. Either you burn it or you store it. They are the only options. And the crazy thing about those two options is it's entirely your choice as to what happens. Now, I'm thoroughly looking forward to seeing what happens where the people who disagree that it's not a choice, that they have no control.
For a lot of people who have manual labor intensive jobs, as long as they control how much they eat and what they eat, they don't really need to exercise because they have manual labor intensive jobs. Their job in and of itself is exercise. But people who want to put on muscle or want to increase their stamina, exercise is a great way to do that. It is basically the only way to do that when it comes to wanting to increase muscle size. And stamina, I'd say, go out for a jog or walk or whatever, increase your stamina. It's going to increase slowly but surely. But the main thing you need to do in order to lose weight is to control. You can eat basically whatever you want, but you also have to figure out what your daily output of calories is, because as long as you can match that daily output, you won't lose weight, but you won't gain weight. You won't gain weight, but you won't lose weight. If you eat less than the amount of energy you put out, you will eventually start losing weight over time. If you eat more than the energy you put out, you will eventually start gaining weight over time. That is how it works. Plain and simple. You can deny it all you want, but that is how it works for our human body.
When they come over. Okay, I'm sorry. I added that sound effect. I'm a piece of shit. I'm very, very aware of it.
I'm surprised he didn't add cow sounds, just like moo.
Let's be a little bit respectful here. Here are the people who
Or
don't
whale
believe
noises.
that weight gain is a choice at all.
I always viewed myself as big. I grew up in a very poor home, so where my mom couldn't provide the meals that she could healthily. So when we would get free meals, even then it would be canned food, and it would be very much food that's not as edible. It was food for us.
Okay, obviously that's horrible. Grows up poor, is very, very big as a child, remains very, very big. But why? Why is it that food, that shit food, had that result? Is it because it was just poor quality and it wasn't very satiating? Was it making her very full as a child so she ate more and more and more? Was it the sugar content? Was it the refined carbohydrate content? These are the questions we need answering, but regardless of all of that, unfortunately, it still comes down to the pure facts that it is a choice. And maybe as a kid, it's not a choice of hers, but her parents. She ate too much and continues to eat too much. And they are all personal choices. We have personal choices in everything we do every single day. Whether we take drugs, whether we drink too much, whether we train, whether we eat well, whatever, whether we sleep all day. These are personal choices and they dictate who you become as a person. You need to take ownership of them.
Once it reached a point where I was old enough to try to make my
Yeah, it is really annoying when you run into all these people that are making all these excuses in the world, blaming everybody and their mother, the entire world around them for the choices that they made. They're just blaming everybody but themselves. They have no sense of accountability. They just say, "Oh, it's because of how I grew up. Oh, it's because I don't make enough. Oh, this stuff is cheaper. Oh, woe is me," and all this other choices that they have made that they decide to blame on everybody else but themselves. Like for me, I am this big because I chose to keep eating more and more and more. One, because out of boredom, I when I got bored real easily, I just kept eating because I found nothing else to do instead of, just finding something to do and possibly going out for a walk and just burning shit off. But I just kept eating more and more than my daily output, and I kept drinking more and more pop and just all this bad shit, and I never went to exercise or did any sort of activity that would help burn off all the shit that I've been eating. Now all of that is a choice. I can't blame that on anybody else because it's choices that I made. I didn't make anybody make those choices for me. Nobody made me do all those things. It was me. And a lot of these people have no accountability whatsoever. They can't take responsibility for their own actions. So their excuse is just excuses. Their only way to go about it is to blame everybody else.
My own choices. I made all of the wrong choices. I wasn't eating, and I was only eating like grapes and lettuce, and that was mainly because I was in a sport, and that sport just worked me out so hard.
She goes on to say, and I won't bore you with it, that she was only eating grapes and eating lettuce at this point, and drinking some water. And she was afraid to eat. Okay, that's horrible that she was afraid to eat. But if you're only eating grapes and eating lettuce, and yet you still put weight on, or at least you don't lose weight, if you want to just maintain the weight, that's like 500 grapes a day. That's a fuck ton of grapes, lady, you crazy bitch.
As a disabled woman, I can't do a lot of the things that people say, calories in, calories out, oh, you gotta go work out and exert it. A lot of the things that are typical, oh, this is how you lose weight, put me in the hospital.
As a balding man, I need to start introducing myself as that. Can I just say, it sucks that you have a disability. That's awful. Personally, I sort of have a slight, it's not a disability, but it's annoying, it's a condition. I have a form of epilepsy, and it stops me from doing certain things, but I get around it. I make choices in my life to navigate this problem. Now, obviously, not all disabilities and conditions and people are equal, but surely you can still get around these problems.
Yeah, I mean, she's walking and doing all this stuff, right? But she has a cane, but she's still able to walk. There are people in wheelchairs who are skinnier and more in shape than her. So she has no excuse. There are people who have worse disabilities than her and yet are still able to either be in shape or be at a healthy weight. So again, she's just making excuses because all she's been doing is making poor choices.
There are plenty of very disabled people, legs off, arms off, fucking heads off, that are still able to maintain a physique, look good, look healthy, and not to mention, you don't even need to train to lose weight. You just need to eat in a caloric deficit. That's it. If you are eating below your total daily energy expenditure, you will lose body fat. That's what a caloric deficit is. All right? We listening? Is it harder for her because she's disabled? No doubt. But it's still achievable. In our society, we reward people with excuses, and that's fucking shit, and we should never do that. Nobody wants pity. And for those people who do want pity, trust me, you don't, all right? You're just a little bit lost. Pity is horrible, it's horrendous, and you never want that. If you have things that are wrong with you, find a way around it.
We're keeping myself from eating things that I should be able to eat. You should be able to have a balance. You should be able to go into the junk food aisle like other skinny people do and still not have to worry about gaining 20 pounds.
A balance? Yeah, sure. But a balance is only having shit food some of the time. And for the vast majority of the time, you should be eating quality food that keeps you full. Particularly when you're in her situation where you are overweight and you do have a medical condition that I would dare say losing weight would probably help with. And you definitely don't need to be going to these massive gym nights, okay? 45 minutes, 3 days a week, pretty much all you need. Throw in some walking as well, you've got it made. As for medications, some drugs will stimulate your appetite, no doubt. Other drugs will actually make you feel better, like SSRIs and antidepressants. They'll make you feel better and you might actually feel like eating. So yeah, you might start to eat more, but these are all choices. Some may slow down your metabolism. But let's work it out. Let's find a way around it. Some are actually thought to interrupt the messaging between the gut and the brain. But let's work it out. Don't just give up. Many medications can affect weight gain. But in all the studies that they've done on the weight gain caused by these medications, what is not controlled in those studies is the diet and the choices made by the person.
There's a thing called set points. There's a ton of research on it, that your body likes to be at specific weights. It likes to be in a specific way.
Okay, your body, let me get this spot on. Let me get this right. Your body prefers the state of illness. It prefers to be in a state of inflammation, in a state of pain, in a state of disease. Okay, now there has, and I will be honest here, there has been some studies that have looked into your body wanting to do this, wanting to keep a certain size or a certain weight. But once again, it doesn't account for diet. And perhaps it has to do with your childhood and your earlier years, and when you've decided to go on a diet and actually lose the weight, you still have all these little fat cells in your body that are just like, hey, please fill me back up. I'm ready to expand again. They don't disappear, they just get a little bit smaller. Perhaps they have been taught over the years that they need to store all this weight, but that doesn't mean that that's your body's healthy size.
I can't imagine anybody getting to a point in their life where they obviously start getting fat and think that, hey, this is a good weight to be at. They look at themselves and they don't think, hey, I'm starting to get big, maybe I should slow down. No. There are plenty of people who seem to think that, yeah, being this size is great, being this size is healthy. You'll be happy at this size. And it's just like, no. How could you be happy at this size? I mean, at some point throughout the day, your joints are going to hurt. Your feet are going to hurt. Why be at the size where all this pain just seems to suddenly flare up?
It means that's how you've conditioned your body to be. Sick. And how have you conditioned it to be sick? Through your choices.
So if you are fighting yourself to lose weight by not eating, over exercising, and you are damn near killing yourself to be at a specific weight, your body's unhappy.
Disagree. You definitely do not need to damn near kill yourself at the gym at all. No. If you just eat what you actually require, maybe just a little bit less, you'll lose weight. You don't even need to go to the gym, but going to the gym's great. It'll help you live longer. Now, the next question that was asked was, would I rather be skinny than fat? And this was one of the responses.
I would rather be skinny than fat. I think that depends on what you mean by skinny. Do you mean skinny as in, like Victoria model skinny, or skinny as in a sort of fit skinny where you aren't like a beanpole, but you still have a good amount of muscle, and it's just at a healthy skinny, I would say. So I'd rather be at a healthier skinny than I'd say skinny.
Immediate tie between skinniness and health, like you emphasized. There is such a gap between, one, the research, because the research has a huge fat phobic bias in it.
Okay, that is a fantastic way to ignore research.
I don't think it has a fat phobic bias. The fat activist research has a bias because they cherry pick things in order to make what they believe right. They do it to make people believe that what they believe is right and is just scientifically been disproven many times over. But they seem to just cherry pick stuff to prove what they believe, which is just bullshit.
To just say that it doesn't like you. Please, do go on.
There has been research that shows that they aren't, even especially during, let's say, COVID and the correlation between obesity. They rushed through those studies.
Hang on, do you mean the correlation that suggested that you may triple your risk of hospitalisation? There were plenty of studies done around this time that apparently didn't like you or had a bias against you. Others found that it increased the...
In total, 3,140,413 patients from 167 studies were included in the study. Obesity was associated with an increased risk of severe disease. All that math in the brackets, I'm not going to read it out. Similarly, high mortality was observed in obese patients, a bunch of math again, in multivariate multivariate meta regression. Sorry, I can't read. On severity, the covariate, I just can't read today, of the female gender, pulmonary disease, diabetes, older age, cardiovascular disease, and hypertension was found to be significant and explained R squared equals 40%. Of the between study I can't read big words. Heterogeneity, I think I said that right, for severity. The aforementioned covariates were found to be significant for mortality as well, and these covariates collectively explained 50% of the between. It's all this scientific talk. I feel so stupid. Anyways, yes. Obesity increases your risk for many, many, many things when it comes to a lot of stuff that has a mortality rate. Diseases, inflammation, viruses, all this sort of stuff. Obesity increases the risk because it puts your body at a more unhealthy state than it would be if you were healthy.
The risk of severe disease. Others found that the risk of death increased by...
Obesity increases the risk of COVID death by 48%. Comprehensive studies suggest vaccine may not work as well for overweight people.
Almost 50% by choices made by you. Follow the science. But yeah, I'm sure these studies were wrong because they don't like you because you're fat. That sounds completely logical.
Rushed through those studies so fast because in society's mind, of course a fat person is going to equal someone who's going to get sick faster, is going to get sick easier. It was an easy jump. So they didn't do all of the testing that they were supposed to do.
Hey. Nothing was rushed during that time. Nothing. And I will not go into what I'm talking about because that's not allowed on YouTube. No way. Anyway, if you ignore all that research and you don't think it's dangerous to be
There were
outside
some
and
things
you
that
think
were
it's
rushed.
fatphobic and yada yada yada, then that's on you. That's also a personal choice, and it's going to come back to bite you in your big fat fucking ass. It's funny though, during the pandemic, we barely heard about these problems. We barely heard that being obese was a bigger issue for people with that particular illness. It's funny how you don't hear those things because they just offended people. That's how delicate our sensibilities is. When you have
I think it's pretty damn stupid that everybody is worrying about what they say because they're so afraid to offend people. You're speaking the English language. You're going to offend somebody. I mean, you're speaking language in general. Somebody's going to get offended somewhere. That is the risk you take when you speak anything, anywhere at all. Somebody's going to get offended because somebody is a stupid fucking snowflake that can't, take anything. So you either speak and risk offending somebody, or you shut the fuck up for the rest of your life because you're so fucking afraid to offend someone. So I'd rather speak, and if somebody gets offended, well, that's their problem and not mine. So, you know what? If you're fat, it's your own fucking fault, and it was your choice. Be offended by that all you want. It's the truth. And nothing is going to change that. Now, if you want to not be fat, I suggest you change the choices you make in your life.
real health advice, you ignore it because it might upset some people. Yeah, that sounds fucking appropriate. Personally, I found being locked in my house by the government a little bit offensive, but anyway, who cares?
America has an obesity problem.
Look at that. 98% say yes, 2% say no. Yes, America has a huge... Now, we are not even in... if I remember correctly, we are not even the top 10 of the most obese countries in the world. We're not. We're not... if I remember correctly, I don't think we're in the top 10. But still, yes, we have an obesity problem. A large percentage of our population is obese because nobody seems to know how to make the right choices for themselves.
Okay, surely everyone agrees here. All right, most of them agree, but not all. How? 70 million adults in America are obese, and 16% of the kids. Not overweight, not big, obese. So yeah, I'd like to say there's a little bit of a problem. Now, the group here, they argue back and forth that it's Big Pharma that's the problem, or Big Food, or Big Lizzo, perhaps. They didn't actually say that. That's my opinion. I think it's probably Lizzo's fault. But sure, whatever. Whoever you want to blame.
I think obesity, it's been a problem for a long time, but it's been a more vocal thing now when social media came around. Especially in the last, I'd say, 5-10 years, it's become annoying at this point because of the fat activists and the fat people who have hijacked the body positivity movement and made it all about them.
Doesn't matter. It all comes down to your own personal choices.
I do think there's a problem with obesity in America, but I think it's a first world country.
Okay, great, thanks, but that wasn't the question.
Health-wise, people should try to be healthier, but there's no perfect body. There's no perfect person. There's no perfect size. And there's people who are underweight. There's a lot of them. And then there's a lot of people who are overweight.
Okay, I'm going to use a word here that I shouldn't because it's dangerous. I really shouldn't use this word. But she's waffling on. Waffling's the dangerous word because it's a video about obese people, and waffles, when mentioned around obese people, it really turns them into just fucking steam trains.
I would love some waffles. I haven't had waffles in, God, probably over 10 years.
She makes no good points, and I won't bore you with them. Terrible points, awful. I think if we can take any lesson away from today's video, it is that people will always look for the path of least resistance in everything that they do in their lives. It's a human trait and it's terrible and you shouldn't do it. And as soon as you allow that into your life, the rest of the things that you do in your day, you'll also look for that path of least resistance. Don't fucking do it. Each time we do, we become weaker. We strengthen that neural pathway to look for the easy option. And that's not good. So ladies and gentlemen, let's wrap up this video by answering the question that I asked. Is being fat a choice? Of course it is, dickhead! Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the video. Be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Me dick stinks. Toodaloo au revoir. Bye-bye.
Yep, and he's not wrong. It is a choice. End of discussion. But yes, please let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more. But, please take care of yourself, people. Make better choices. Eat healthier. Exercise. At least 3 to 5 times a day. At least 3 to 5 days a week. So, yeah. Subscribe if you want more. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.